Welcome back to What the Hell Do I Know with JB. Today's guest you may have heard of before, or maybe even seen him on TV. I mean, former Navy SEAL. He's seen highs and lows from mountaintops to mud holes. We're going to dive in, and hopefully I don't get my ass kicked on this show. We're going to even find out maybe if G.I. Jane is based on a true story. So let's give a warm jabroni welcome to my friend, Eddie Gallagher.
Nice.
Yeah, baby.
Love the intro.
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.
Yeah, the
Juice is gone. I'm not as good. I'm not as good.
Yeah, he's not as good. But
that's for Juice.
Yeah, so we're here, man.
We got a Juice replacement though, or a Juice up. At least a slight upgrade. Another
Yeah, if we're gonna get a guest host,
it's gotta be a Jason.
That's like the rule, right?
But now he's a regular. Almost. He's coming around. It's like he's coming around.
Working his way up the ladder.
Yeah. I'm on the couch.
I gave you better notice than I did last time.
Yeah.
It was a day. It was a day and a couple days. Yeah, it was a couple days that I might have an issue, and it wasn't like an hour.
Yeah, no, this is a good one. This will be easy.
Yeah. So you guys know each other and hung out before, so I thought that would be really good to connect you two. And Eddie, you live like right around the corner here. I mean, how long did it take you to get to the studio? Like 20 minutes, maybe?
Oh, less.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Between 10 and 15. Yeah, I'm over in Blue Mountain.
I know it, and I've had the chance to sit with you once before and getting to know you, and I really appreciate you being on the show. So thank you so much for coming on and entertaining this audience and these jabronis.
No, man, not at all. It's an honor to be here. You know, like we talked over at the studio over at Dave's. You know, Dave was filling me in on everything you had going on, and I mean, I'm all about supporting local, and like if everybody's trying to like make something or do something, I'm all about it, man. So
well, it means a lot, and especially you've got quite the pedigree, man. I mean, it's amazing when anytime you look up somebody's Wikipedia page and it's you just keep scrolling,
keeps going
and scrolling and scrolling. I mean, I don't have one.
I don't either. I don't have.
I'm just a $10 podcast.
Be thankful for that. Everything on that Wikipedia page is not 100%. Yeah, exactly.
I remember when Georgia actually when we beat Tennessee like for like the 6th time in a row or something. Somebody went on and they changed like Knoxville Stadium to like the ownership was like the University of Georgia.
Because you can do that on Wikipedia.
You can
get in there and
change
mess
things
with it.
and mess with it. Yeah. So, and speaking of that, you just got your Facebook page back, right?
Oh yeah, big news.
That's big news.
Were you in Facebook jail?
Somebody like scammed them out of it or something.
So we got scammed probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. It was actually, for the listeners out there, just in case this happens to you, we got reached out to by this not an organization, but it was a podcast, and they're like, "Hey, we want you to come on, and we'll pay you." It was like $5,000.
Sure.
Now, that's the first time I've ever been like asked to be on a podcast and get paid. Not that I would ever like want to ask people to have. I'll come on anybody's podcast, but
just
they offered, so we were like kind of wary about it, and it was Travis Kelce, the guy who's dating. I don't know what they are.
I can't even remember their podcast. It's something Heights. It's
the Kelce brothers?
Yeah, it's something Heights. It's from Ohio. It's like the name of their high school or something like that. Yeah.
So that's what it was being advertised as. So, but as soon as we clicked the link, that was it. They had everything. So immediately.
That's funny because I remember getting or seeing a page that said Eddie Gallagher / and this was about the time that we met.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll follow this. And it was like legit one day, and then the next day it was like
random.
Well, it was just like totally, and I'm like,
He's like, that's not Eddie.
Well, and I knew right away. I was like, oh, this is somebody else that's jumped on, the name recognition and is trying to grab followers, basically, or whatever.
Yeah, what was crazy is whoever took it over, I mean, they were posting randomness, which obviously wasn't me.
So they didn't even start out with like trying to keep it on brand at all.
No, it went straight. But it wasn't like anything that was horrific, like, oh my gosh. So
Was it all asking for money?
No, not even.
Wow.
It was like positive. They first started off as like military type stuff, like positive military videos, and then, slowly it got a little bit more and more just different. I wouldn't even, but none of it was like to where I'm like, okay, we need to do something about this. Obviously, we were trying to fix it, but it wasn't urgent. I could care less.
I'm just honestly,
I'm glad you.
I don't care.
I get it.
Yeah.
But eventually,
it's your brand though.
It did, and it got to a point where the person was posting like, my dog died, or our house is flooded, and people thought it was us.
Yeah.
So they're calling me, being like, "Are you okay?" And that's when I was like, "All right, this is an issue. We have to change this." So it took about 1.5 years of trying to get it back.
Well, I'm actually just glad you got it back. And for the record, Travis Kelce, if you want to give me $5,000, I will come on.
I'll do
your
it.
podcast tomorrow. I'll pay my.
I'll do
flight.
it for 10, Travis.
The price has gone up.
The price is right, Bob. No, I'm super excited to have you here, and I do want to know. I mean, like G.I. Jane. I mean, how close is it? I mean, I've watched that movie. It's so good. I mean,
I think G.I. Jane would have been. Yeah, Demi Moore would have been. This day and age, more realistic. For
really, you think so?
Yeah.
With all the trying to push women into special operations.
Really, yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, that was. I honestly watched G.I. Jane when I was in high school.
Did you really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because
I mean,
yeah, exactly. I was like, if she can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
I like it.
But no, it's definitely nowhere close.
I mean, come on,
nowhere
ringing
close.
the bell is real, right?
Yes, I mean, I guess that's the one thing they got right, but everything else
That's about it.
I mean, being in the water, doing push-ups in the water.
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay, so
they got some elements.
There that.
But just the whole premise of it, and not take away the whole female aspect. I mean, the whole premise of it was just like not believable.
Not really.
Once you get into that community, you're like, okay,
right.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like a movie.
I mean, it feels that way. Like if you talk to an FBI agent, we had a former behavior analysis unit guy from the FBI come on our show, and a great guy, Mike Yoder. If you haven't seen that episode, go check it out.
It's a great episode.
It really is good. But I asked him like, how close is like Dateline in 2020 and all of these different things. He's like,
not even close.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, they're packing everything in into like an hour. He's like, some of these are just painstakingly slow.
I mean, they got TV's got to dramatize it or make it interesting.
Right.
So they're going to Hollywood it up when they have to.
Sure. What made you go into? I mean, because you decided to go in the Navy. Did you know you were going to go straight into the SEAL program, or was that something that you thought about, or
not really, not my childhood or anything. I mean, I grew up an Army brat, so my dad was in the Army. He graduated West Point, and he was in for about 26 years. So I was living, the military life all the way up until my high school. It was when he got out when I was a freshman, and that's when we moved to Indiana. And I really had no intentions of joining until I graduated, and then I was going down a wrong path. Sure. Just one foot in prison pretty much already, and I just knew, I was like, I got to get out of here and do something with my life. So I went, drove down to the recruiting station, I think at like 3 a.m. After a late night of partying, and smoked cigarettes until the recruiter showed up, and literally I walked in there having no idea about anything. But I knew I wanted to do something. If I was going to go in the military, I was like, okay, I grew up watching, all the movies that I'm sure you did, Rambo and Commando. So I was like, I want to do something like that, having no real idea of what that entailed.
And those feel like feeling further away from the reality than G.I. Jane.
Exactly.
That's right.
My goal is like, I want to look like Arnold or Sylvester Stallone, but I want to do that job. So I was like, what can I do? So I went in there and there was a SEAL poster, and I had seen the movie Navy SEALs, which is the documentary.
Was it? There was Charlie Sheen. One. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Actually, pretty realistic on some parts on that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most realistic part is the beginning of that movie when he wakes up completely blacked out on the beach with I think with a stripper's heel in his pocket or his hand. I'm like, yep, that's accurate. But the rest of it is definitely not.
Of all the scenes. Yeah, that's pretty close.
Remember they had that guy God? He was like the sniper when
switching
they
to
called out to
Starlight.
him. Yeah, boy. And he jumped out of I remember he jumped out of like the Jeep over into the bridge sort of thing.
Yeah, that was Charlie Sheen.
That was Charlie Sheen actually did that. Yeah.
That was pre-Tiger Blood.
That was in the beginning of his career.
Yeah, sure was.
So I mean, I saw that movie, so I knew, I was like, hey, I want to do something tough, and he had a SEAL poster, and I was like, hey, I want to go do that.
Wow.
he automatically told me, yeah, right, nobody makes it, which then, with my rebellious attitude, I was like, now I'm definitely going to go do it.
Now I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I signed up right then, asked no questions, which later bit me in the ass. So yeah, I signed up, didn't tell my parents until I think the day before. I was like, so I was home for a couple months.
So you were 18.
Yeah, and when I went, I was 19.
Yeah. Okay.
I had, I think I went at 19 years old, and yeah, I told my parents pretty much the day before. I was like, hey, I'm leaving for boot camp tomorrow.
That's
and I think they were
crazy.
just like, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got a path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you when you say you're going to be a SEAL? I mean, like, what is it? So it's what, MOS? Is that what people
So
say?
yeah,
so
the
like kind of the job
Army
you
or
get?
Marines would call it an MOS.
Yeah.
The Navy calls it a rate.
Okay.
So that's your job.
Right. So what would you do in that? Because you don't say like SEAL. Like
So
nobody
back
makes
then-
it. So what do you go in at?
Back then, right. So now SEALs have their own rate. Right.
Okay.
They're called SO, SEAL operator.
Okay.
But back then they didn't. So you had to pick a rate in order to go to BUD/S. So
Okay.
what I was told by the recruiter was like, hey, they're undermanned for corpsmen.
Okay.
Having no idea what a corpsman was.
Yeah.
Didn't ask. I was like, sweet, just sign me up. I went to boot camp. And at the end of boot camp, they're like, hey, you're reading off like what school you're going to.
Yeah.
And they're like, Gallagher Corpsman. And I was like, hey, what is that? And the guy was like, you have no idea. I'm like, no, it's a medic. So
Wow.
Nice.
I went to corpsman school. And then from there, because I didn't have a contract to go to BUD/S,
Okay.
which the recruiter did not tell me.
you.
Of course.
Got you.
And that's my own fault.
Right.
But you have a... you can decide after you get done with Corps school, it's you either go to the fleet, which is the Navy, go to a ship or work in a hospital,
Okay.
or you go to the Marine Corps, because the Marine Corps does not have its own medics. They get them from the Navy. So of course I was like, I want to go to the Marines. I went to a infantry line unit. I was in 1st Battalion, 8th Marines.
Wow.
So I served there with the Marine Corps from 99 to 04. And
So you had 5 years in the Marine Corps.
yeah, I did my
We
first.
always forget that that's part of the Navy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the men's department.
That's what my brother
There we go.
would say.
Oh, I
talked to my
No.
brother today and told him I was interviewing. My brother served in the
Yeah.
Marine Corps in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and so he was like, "Well, since he was in the Navy, ask him if when you send 300 Navy men off in a ship, what do you get back?" And I was like, "I don't know." He's like, 150 couples. And I thought, Nate, I don't want to get my ass kicked by this guy. He's a SEAL. Like,
I'd agree
chill
with
out.
him. Believe me. Of course, you got to ask him what Marine stands for. It's my ass rides in Navy equipment.
Yeah, no.
That's true. You do get a free ride.
That's right.
You
But
know what's
yeah,
funny is he was supposed to be on float. Like he finally got this float in his battalion or whatever, and is going to be on this cruiser through the Med, and it was like all peacetime, and then 9/11 happened. And
Yep.
so what he was supposed to do is like, he's like, I'm about to be like, however many months, like going through Italy and all these ports, and I mean, this is like a free cruise, and I'm a Marine on a Navy ship, so I just work out every day.
that was my first deployment.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he said
It's
next thing you know,
pre-9/11.
9/11 happened while he was on the float, and it was like,
Surprise.
Yeah.
they're shut down, buddy. We're in it.
Yeah, game changer
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I started my first 4 year, and I did pre 9/11 deployment on a
Okay.
ship. The worst to this day, the worst deployment I ever did.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely not. I'm not made to be
Chill
on
out.
a ship like
You were
that.
bored to death, weren't
it's a,
you?
It's a floating. It's
Were
a
you
floating
bored-
prison.
You were bored to death.
And I can say that now that I've been to prison
Yeah,
as
right.
well.
You can compare. Hey,
Yeah,
most
it's,
people haven't been on either,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
you can
So
compare
I
them.
Knocked out both those quals, but yeah, that's the only time I'll claim I had PTSD coming back is like from that deployment. It was just a broken down ship. It was supposed to be decommissioned 3 different
Wow.
times. They kept it going. I mean, it was so bad that
Was it like the SS Clinton?
it was
I mean, what are we
the
talking about here?
The
Nimitz. No,
Nimitz.
was it? No, not the Nimitz. It was the.
Nimitz.
Oh, dude, I cannot believe I'm forgetting the name of it. It'll probably come back to me here in a
in your
second.
nightmares.
Yeah.
Tonight, later on.
But it was
Probably
so
in
bad.
the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. It was the Nashville. That's right. So we called it. We called it the Trashville.
Trash.
Yeah. So the bathrooms would explode on a daily basis.
Things
So
would explode.
we would have 4x4s in the bathroom that you had to balance on to get to the sink or the toilet because there was probably a foot of just shit and piss all over the bathroom. So when the boat would rock, it would slosh up against and just douse you. So that, to make matters worse, though,
that's like a Carnival cruise.
I slept on the bottom.
There goes that endorsement.
Rack. So
you slept on the bottom rack.
Yeah. So there's
that's
the way
even
on a
worse,
ship, it's like 4 or 5 beds deep. So in order for the guys above me, they had to step on my bed to get up. So they're stepping on my bed with covered
really
in
bad.
piss and everything else.
Shit and everything.
And I was a new guy, so you can't really complain. You just have to take it. So that was like 6 months of that.
That wasn't really a nice cruise ship.
No. So I got back and I had some issue. I was like, dude, I do never want that again. Just further, gave me motivation to go be a SEAL.
Go be a SEAL.
Yeah.
So SEAL team, I mean, when you got into this SEAL and you get into, people hear the word BUDS or they hear SEAL training, and like we talked about G.I. Jane and all this, but and we know it's the toughest training, pretty much around the world. I mean, I guess PJs are going to go through a lot. Maybe Green Berets. Every training's a little different, catered to them. But I mean, this is pretty intense training. We know that the rate of success, like you said, is dang near 0.
75 to 80% dropout.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. So it's huge, but I mean, it's almost impossible for the average person to grasp. I mean, can you walk us through what it takes? Like how shocked were you? What was a sticker shock for you when you got in there? Did you have anybody to talk to prepare you? I mean, what is it like to have to gear up for that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the first thing is just the willingness, right? It's like, this is what I want to do. And of course, you really have no idea when you actually decide to take that leap. So back then, there was not a lot of information out. We didn't have the internet back then or anything to search. So, I'd go to the library. There's a couple SEAL books.
Right. No internet in the 90s, in the 1900s.
Back then, we had to read to get our information and go out of our way.
Back in the 1900s.
Way back in the 1900s.
Actually do some critical thinking.
Yeah, we did. Right.
So, I read a couple books, and there was luckily the Discovery Channel came out with a documentary following a BUDS class, and that was came out a year before I actually went.
Okay.
So that was like a gold mine for me. Yeah. I was like watching that over and over.
Right.
Clues.
Did it walk through kind of the phases too?
It did.
So you kind of understood maybe, okay, I got to get over this level. Each one's probably hard.
It was very vanilla though. Okay. Obviously, they don't show what really goes on at BUDS. They're just showing the highlights. It still looked miserable, but but for me, I had a little bit different experience as far as for guys that show up, like they join the Navy, go to boot camp, and go right to BUDS. I think there definitely is a shell shock factor when they get there. They're like, oh crap. But because I had done 4 years with the Marines, I actually got to go to Marine Corps Sniper School. I became a Marine water combat instructor in the water. So I volunteered for all these hard courses in the Marines. So by the time I got to BUDS, I was pretty mature in the fact, okay, I know the game a little bit.
You knew the lingo.
Yeah, and I also knew, I was like, dude, they're not going to, yes, you can die here, but they do everything to mitigate that from happening. Right. There's always that possibility.
If you can put the mind, do you feel like if you can get your mind to make your body do it?
So that
what a lot
will happen.
Of it is? Yeah.
So BUDS will drive you to that, but that doesn't come until really Hell Week. The first couple weeks are just a big beatdown. Your day is consumed with all these different evolutions. You have to wake up in the morning, pass a 4-mile time run right off the bat. You do a workout for an hour and a half. Then you go do log PT. Then you get the boats and you run with the boats on your heads. There's all these different evolutions you do, and all of it is just to really beat you down, see how much pain you can take, how much suffering you can take, but still perform at 100%. That you're not going to feel sorry for yourself or quit, because they're looking for people who are good teammates, right? That put the team first before themselves. That put everybody else's pain first before you put because everyone's in pain. Then you come to Hell Week, and that is really like our big crucible. By that time, you'll have a good chunk of the class that's already quit, but then Hell Week gets the rest of them. And what Hell Week consists of, you start off Sunday night. They call it breakout. They come out. They have you're sleeping in a tent on the beach, and they come out with machine guns, and that's the start of the week. You get It ends Friday afternoon, and so from Sunday night to Friday afternoon, you are nonstop getting beat down.
No sleep.
Maybe an hour, right? An hour a day.
3.5 hours, I think, for the week. So
The whole week.
The whole
week.
Yeah. So you Wednesday, I think Wednesday during the day is your first nap. You get like an hour and a half, and then I think on Thursday you get another one. But that's pretty much it. So you're just going, and what that week really does is it shows who has a willingness, who's going to be be here at the end, who has the grit and determination. But it's really, I try to break it because you can ask any team guy, and they might give you a different their version of like what they think Hell Week does and what the purpose of it. I really think it's to see who's going to be a liability or an asset. It's like
you gel together, I imagine, when you're going through that kind of
you are forced
pain.
to gel together.
Yeah.
So
if you choose to.
Yeah. So and like you'll have guys, you're always going to pick up the slack for people. That's so if a guy's hurting and he's like in a lot of pain, but he's a good dude. You're like, okay, man, we're going to pick the weight up for this guy for a little bit, but not for the whole time. Like he's got to get back under there. It's the guys who are, constantly when you're under the boat, right? We carry these big boats that they weigh enough to where it hurts.
Right, and sometimes it's on your head, and where's like your hair off?
Oh yeah, you're bald by the end of it.
Right,
you have blood coming out.
Really?
I mean,
you got blood and snot and tears coming down at the same
you're
time.
all over too because you're wet and sandy the whole time. And so if you're one of those guys that's under the boat and is constantly like, oh, my neck, my shoulder, eventually guys are like, shut your mouth. Dude.
We're
Because everybody
Tell
else
you
is
about my
hurting.
neck and shoulders, bro. We're all hurting.
And if the guy's doing that, we'll outrun you. So
I think
There you go.
the important thing to mention too is that we're on the East Coast. Tell them where this goes down.
Oh yeah, so this is done in San Diego, obviously, and I think when everybody thinks of San Diego, they're like, "Oh, it's sunny." The water's freezing, right? All year round,
all year round. Yeah,
the Pacific's different.
Like spring cold.
The Pacific is very
not cold like we know it here on the East Coast.
So they really don't need much there. I mean, it's just like we'll put you in the water and be like, "There you go," sitting there. And guys will hype out or. But yeah, I mean. It really, by the end of that week, that's the core group of dudes that's probably going to make it to the end. Second and third phase. Second phase is dive phase, where you do all your underwater, your diving stuff. And we'll lose guys there for testing purposes. And then as you're going through, you still have to perform your 4-mile time runs, your 2-mile ocean swim, your obstacle course each week. And the times just get tougher. Yeah. So that's really what, I mean, Buds... It's not like you're getting stronger either. You're
losing weight.
You're losing weight.
Well, the one thing Buds does is they
give you some protein, no sleep, but you can eat.
You can have all the food. Like, well, you eat 3 times a day, and then during Hell Week it's 4 times. But and I hear other branches are like, well, we don't eat, and it's like, well, believe me, you need to eat or you die. Because they are beating us down that much. If you do not consume calories, you are done. So you don't
want to eat, but you have
there's times that you don't want to, and that's the one advice I had going into Hell Week by some guy that had already made it through. He was like, dude, just eat as much as you can. If they give you the chance to, just eat until you get sick.
Really?
And I don't know if that's the reason I made it, but I took him up on that. And I was like,
I will eat.
Yeah. Because there was guys, during Hell Week, I remember sitting, around the table, and guys aren't eating, and they're just like staring at their food, and within a couple hours they quit.
They're quit.
Yeah. They're already thin.
So how many you started with? How many, and then how many walked away with you from the start?
From the start to finish. So we'll probably start with around 180 guys.
And these guys have been vetted to get there. Yeah. Right? You've gone through a process to even get there.
They passed everything they need to be a student there.
Not just the ASVAB.
Yeah. I actually had to retake the ASVAB.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like 5 points below on my mechanical skills.
Oh, wow.
Which I'd probably still be the way to this day. But yeah, you start off with 180, and when you graduate, you're down to like 30, but you also you can get rolled. So if you get hurt,
that's right.
or if you fail like a run, and if you're a good dude, they'll be like, okay, hey, we're gonna put him in the next class. So you'll get each phase. So you'll maybe finish first phase with 40 dudes.
Yeah.
You go to second phase and you get 20 more dudes attached because they got rolled.
They got rolled,
then
so
the
they
class
did
goes
first
up to
phase
60.
maybe? So they could have done first phase.
They already
just
did,
come
and
in
they're just waiting for the next class to come through so they can do second
I heard
phase.
there's a class that's like 0.
There was
Like
a class
historical class that
graduated.
nobody made.
Yeah.
It's like this class that didn't exist.
Yeah, that was way back in the
Even
day.
though it existed, it didn't
He
exist.
sounds like the Discovery
Nah,
Channel.
man, I am a walking encyclopedia
more
on
than
this.
I do, buddy.
I will read it. I won't do it.
Yeah, it's
I stay right here.
It's the back. It's the back.
It's the back. They're not going to take me anyway.
He's got an impeccable 40.
laughing.
I just laugh my way through. I make it the first day laughing, and then you're out of here.
That's most people do. That's the only, I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
that is one of the attributes to make it through is having a good sense of humor.
Good attitude. Yeah.
Because you get so miserable. It's
You gotta
if
laugh at-
can't-
you
if
gotta laugh at
can't
stuff
laugh at the
sometimes, right?
misery, then you
Yeah.
are. It's like, well, then that's really what you come to find out, and you get told this in Buds is like this. Buds is the easiest you have it in this career. Like. You are going to be colder, more miserable in your job than you will be here. And when you're going through it, you're like, no freaking way. And when you come to find out, once you get to a team, like for our
Get dropped
training,
in a hot
it's-
zone, right?
That
It's
is
the
really
truth.
cold.
Yeah,
I've been cold before, like deer hunting.
Well, like you
There's
said,
a level that I don't even want to go
In
past.
Hollywood, they show you in a lot of this where you just kind of like, what was that one? So I did CrossFit for like a decade. It felt like, and I really enjoyed it. My wife and I both did it. We had a great time in it. But it has a lot of military kind of undertones to CrossFit.
They do a
and
lot of
some the
workouts in honor of dudes that have been killed.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's
Murph.
a lot of
The
that
Murph.
stuff.
The
So
Murph
Murph
being
was
one.
always the worst one that I felt like I ever did. They did one called Fight Gone Bad. That was my first day ever in a CrossFit gym, and it mimics
That's
an
a good
MMA
one.
fight.
Yeah.
But I had been working out for years at like Gold's and Planet
Yeah.
Fitness and all this, and Buddy goes, "Hey, I'm doing this workout class, and you should come." And I'm like, "Aerobics? Are we doing aerobics here?" He's like, "No, it's not aerobics. I'm
It's
telling
this
you, gonna
cool
be
cult
great."
I'm a
But-
part of.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
There's a new thing called CrossFit.
He's like, come in and check out CrossFit. And so my first day was this thing, Fight Gone Bad. And he goes, just do 2 rounds. I was like, no, I'm going to do the whole thing. I couldn't walk for like 5 days.
You're
You know,
puking.
It was crazy. But at any rate, Murph was one of them, and there was a movie that was out with Mark Wahlberg,
Lone Survivor,
yeah,
about Marcus.
and maybe
Yeah.
that showed like an incredible amount of like pain that those guys had to go through, and and really he was the lone survivor in that particular.
That's a tough movie to get through.
But a lot of times Hollywood doesn't show you, like you were talking about, like it's like you're dropped in the hot zone, you get a fight, your battle's over, but it's not showing that it might take you days to get there and what you had to go through. I mean, or weeks even to prepare and
Yeah, I mean,
get through that challenge. You know,
I think if Hollywood showed that, then people would be bored out of their minds. They'd be like, okay, this is.
You don't
want
need to
the
see me
action.
sleeping in the mud.
Yeah, or like the hours of waiting
Right.
around for a firefight to kick off, or
Right.
all the things that it takes to get to that point, right?
But you have to have your mind ready.
All
Because
times.
it's not like you know when it's going to happen. You're just prepared that it is going to happen.
You're just expecting it to happen each and every time. Yeah, like that's having your mind ready. Is like every time we went out, there was never a time it's like, oh, we're going out and this is going to be nothing. It's
Right.
like we're going out.
Yeah.
If you want to mess with us, go ahead.
Right.
Like we're
ready.
Yeah,
They're not there to
We're
play.
ready.
They're not there to play kickball.
We're
No,
ready.
and we're not winning hearts and minds. either.
No.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's a-
Right.
That never.
That part's not.
That sounds like that would
So,
work, but it doesn't.
Eddie, when you when you get done with this Buds, you're now like you've got a small group of people. Is that now formed the team, or does each person get placed on a team? Because I know there's like SEALs Team 6, SEAL Team 7, SEAL Team.
So
I don't know what other teams there are, but
I'll break it down. So you get done with Buds, and then you have to go to. You're not a SEAL yet, so you go to SEAL qualification training, which is another 7 months. And once you finish that, that's when you're given your trident, right? And so from there, everyone sort of goes to whatever team that they're assigned to, and they give you like a choice. They call it the dream sheet before. They're like, hey, where do you? And they never send you where you want to go. So
You kind of got to do the backwards thing.
That's
They're
just
like,
another way to mess
I don't
with
want to
you.
go there.
And it's the needs of the Navy or the needs of the teams. So you have the odd number teams, 1, 3, 5, and 7 are all on the West Coast.
Okay.
The even number teams, 2, 4, and 8, and 10 are on the East Coast, and then of course then you have development group, which is on the East Coast as well, which everyone calls SEAL Team 6.
Gotcha.
So that's
he's an asset though, because again, he's a medic.
Right.
So I went to, because I was a medic with the Marines, when I graduated SEAL qualification training, got my Trident, I then got sent to Special Operations Medical School in Fort Bragg, which is a Green Beret Army run school.
Yep.
So I had another 7 months there before I even checked into a team. So I did that. So when I checked in, I was a qualified medic.
Okay.
Because I went to Marine Corps Sniper School, I was already a sniper as well. So as a new guy, that was kind of, unheard of, but to have those 2 quals. So when I got your team, the qualifications I had were definitely an asset, because if you're a medic, you're going on every operation. You're needed. It's like we can't go without having a medic there. And then having the sniper qual to boot is like just like, all right, sweet, I'll go as a medic, but I'm bringing my sniper rifle with me.
Right. You're a wanted commodity about anywhere you go.
Who was that guy that was
needed?
Boot camp? There was the one movie. I know we're talking about Hollywood way too much, but that's how
people can connect with that, though.
Yeah, but what was the one movie that it was the drill sergeant that was really he was a real drill sergeant, and then
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. Because I think here's my rifle.
Mayonnaise.
This is my rifle.
This is my rifle.
Many like it, but this one is mine.
Yes,
This one's mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think of that, but
Was it? Without my rifle, I am nothing.
Right.
My rifle without me is whatever. I don't know it all. That's a Marine.
I think that was like Vincent D'Onofrio's first role. He was the crazy guy that
he was.
Yeah, in the
Private
bathroom.
Pile.
Private Pile.
Yeah.
In the bathroom.
Yeah, how about that? Wasn't that crazy?
That's my son's in the
nuts.
Marines right now.
Yeah. Did he watch Full Metal Jacket?
I had him watch it before he went.
Because I've heard that that's actually pretty accurate in the boot camp. Maybe I don't know where it is now.
I would think so. I didn't go to Marine Corps boot camp, yeah. I mean, my son was like. Yeah, it was. I mean, they've probably made things a little bit softer, just with the way our society
the world's
is.
Gone,
but yeah, I mean, it's pretty accurate.
That is nuts. Danielle, can we throw up some pictures of Eddie? Not the white. I don't want him in his whites. I've got a couple in the. There we go. There's some.
Now, there we go. That's the infamous one.
Yeah.
Is that an infamous one?
That is the one where I'm holding.
You got a great mustache game going on right now. Is that a mustache?
Oh, that's the infamous one. I don't see that part, so I just grabbed him off the internet.
Yeah.
So what's the other one? Let me see the other one here.
Got him with my knife.
Yeah. That's it.
That was the text message, right? But let's see what's the. There we go. Now where is this at?
It looked like a little dirty.
In Mosul, Iraq.
Was that Mosul? That was. I hear that. Reading up on that, it seemed like that was quite a conflict there. And
that was definitely a big, crazy scene, deployment. Right? It was probably one of the most busiest and kinetic ones that I've done.
Right.
It was different, but.
Well, you don't know where people are coming from. I mean, the people describe this fog of war sort of thing, when I've talked to other people, and I've never actually had this kind of conversation with someone in your expertise in special forces. I do know some, crazy enough, we're in an area that there is a lot of special forces here.
A lot.
I know the 7th Green Berets.
7th Group is here.
7th here.
Then you got the STS and everybody from Hurlburt.
Right.
Air Force.
I've had a number of opportunities to sit down and talk with some guys that have special forces, and some still in service, and so it's interesting conversations that we have. But you talk about this kind of fog of war and just how things come at you sometimes, and people describe it in, I guess, different ways. But like when you're in that, you don't know who your enemy is sometimes, right? In a place like Mosul, or I mean, I don't know.
It's always like you're fighting unconventional warfare. And you're fighting. You're fighting insurgents, right? So they use the civilian populace, against you. They use them for shields. They also recruit them while you're there. So the problem is like, and they don't wear uniforms either.
Right. But it's not like I'm the bad guy.
The more experience you have, more going over there, you can spot them. Right?
Really?
Yeah. If you're like brand new, obviously you're probably wide-eyed and be like, shit, I don't know what's what. But the more time you got going over, you start using your experience to your advantage, and you're like, okay, that dude definitely does not look like he belongs here, or he's acting shady. And then you start just putting all your experiences together. You definitely know, like when we go out, obviously anything can happen at any time, but we mitigate as much risk as possible every time we plan an operation. We definitely try to have all the advantage on our side every time we go out. We're not just the conventional guys, and I'll give it to them all day long, dude.
Yeah.
Those dudes, yes, they're putting their ass on the line every time they step out the wire because they're not fed enough information.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, you're going to patrol to contact. And so those guys are definitely fog of war. For us, we are definitely a little bit more mature in our process of how we go and take down targets or go do things. But at the end of the day, Murphy's Law can happen at any time, and it usually does. And so, yeah, you have to be prepared to flex or to, change the plan on the fly.
Right.
And it can get,
I call it
chaotic.
Offensively defensive.
Offensively defensive.
Would that be a...
the best defense is a good offense.
Best defense is a good offense.
We're on the offense all the time. Like the second we find ourselves in a defensive position, it's like we've lost. We are now,
which is really like the lone survivor kind of story.
Exactly.
That would be the story of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we try to mitigate from we always have the advantage. But like I said, Murphy's Law will happen. And so, but with the way our training is, the way we train up to go on deployment, we are constantly put in a situation where it's organized chaos all the time.
Yeah.
So you really thrive in that type of environment, which is a good thing, but then can be a bad thing when you get out.
I know. That's what I was going to say. I would, in civilian life, I would hate an organized chaos. Like I need things to have little order, and I need to run through it.
I kind of want to know how it's going to end.
My wife both, but believe me,
I need about a 90% certainty this is going to happen. I need to I know what I'm working for, and this is going to happen.
See, we have the opposite. To where when I got out, it's like if things are hunky dory, I'm like, I got to throw a bomb.
Interesting.
I
need to make a mess of this.
Comfortable. It's like I want chaos around me.
It almost calms you.
It does. It does calm you down. It's like, this is what I'm used to. Well, the rest of the family is like, you're a psycho.
Thanks,
like,
Dad.
what is this? So,
wow, it's interesting that you recognize that. How long did it take you to recognize it, or did you feel like you knew that early on?
I'm a slow learner. It took me a good couple years after I got out to realize, maybe I'm the problem here.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, before we get too much further, I do want to welcome everybody finally to our Floors.com studio.
That's right.
FLOORZZ. Floors.com. They are your one-stop shop for your new build or remodeling needs. So give them a buzz, Floors.com. They'll take care of you, and tell them the jabroni sent you. They will do a great job, baby. So Floors.com. Yeah, man. And let's go ahead and jump into a game that I like to play called What the Hell Do I Know with Eddie Gallagher. So 7 questions, rapid succession, no gotcha questions. You can pass if you need to.
Okay.
We're going to put a clock
nobody
on.
does.
I've never had anyone fail it except for 2 boat captains.
Now the pressure's on.
So here we go. I'll tell you why they failed it later. But number 1, coffee or energy drink before a workout?
Coffee.
All right. What's hard? Number 2, what's harder, Hell Week or life as a civilian after the SEALs?
I'd say I'll narrow that down a little bit. Transition into civilian life after the SEALs.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Number 3, first word that comes to mind when you hear teamwork.
Loyalty.
Perfect. Number 4, what's one book every young warrior should read?
I'm not going to plug mine on that one. It is.
I think you should.
The Man in the Arena. I think definitely read that. But for a young man, I'd say Tribe by Sebastian Junger.
Very good. Very good. Most underrated skill in becoming a Navy SEAL?
Having a sense of humor.
Nice. Nice.
Hit that one.
Earlier. Number 7, one lesson from combat you still live by every day.
A bad plan, well executed, is a lot better than a great plan that is questioned
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. I like it. You are off the hot seat.
Nice.
That
No
is
passes.
really good, Eddie. You did great.
Yeah.
You did awesome. No, my guys, the boat captain
all right, I'm
got
done.
the.
I gotta get
You got it. You
haven't taken a
crushed
test
it.
in a while.
Yeah.
You crushed it. My boat captains, they got on one question, and he went off on this long, fishing story.
And the clock's still ticking.
This is supposed to be
And the clock's still ticking.
It's still going.
That's awesome.
He told a fishing story in the
That's
7
awesome.
questions, so it's so good.
That sounds like a fishing captain.
That is a fishing captain. It checks out. It checks
Yeah,
out.
it does.
For sure. No, that's so good. Man, actually, I forgot the 7th. I don't think I actually got the 7, which we won't have it on the clock, but who would you most like to interview next on Shoot Me Straight? Is there anybody like in your reach that, because you guys have great podcast guests all the time, including JB.
That's right. Huberman.
Okay.
I'd definitely like to. It'd be cool to have him come down and meet him and be able to talk to him.
Very good.
He's a wealth of information.
Yeah. No, you've got you guys have had some incredible guests too, and y'all been doing it about 3 years now, right?
Yeah, no, I can't believe. Yeah,
It's
3 years.
insane.
It's nuts. Yeah,
I know. And great studio, great setup. You and Dave have a great cadence too. So.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, it's as you know, starting it up. It's it was more just like it was Dave. Dave wanted to do it.
Okay.
Asked me, he's like, hey, would you co-host with me? And I was like, oh, let me think about it. And I was like, you know what, I will. I'll give it a try. And it's like a hobby, But then Dave is a very business-minded individual. Yep. So our thing was like, hey, let's just stay consistent, episode a week. Which doesn't seem like a big deal.
It's a lot.
Like,
No.
It's a lot.
It's a
right?
big deal.
No, we found that out real quick.
Yeah, it was
But we stuck to our guns and did an episode a week for a year, and then then you can start bringing on some sponsorships and start growing the podcast.
Yeah.
And so we've been organically growing for 3 years now. And just
we're closing out season 2, so we're coming in on 2 years, and
nice.
I would probably had our first sponsors the beginning of season 2, so it took us a year.
Yeah,
we did every other week actually for the first year out of my house, and then finally was like, okay, let's get a real studio and get there, and so we're starting to get different guests in, and everything started local, but it's a lot like you. I mean, I tell people all the time, if you're starting a podcast, just start small, and work on content. Work on content of
That's
the story
what's huge,
versus everybody's like, I need to get the guy with the hundreds of thousands of followers or whatever. And I mean, we just had Qualified Captain on. It's like 1.8 million followers, and that was huge for us. But I didn't start there.
Sure.
I mean, you can't start there.
And also, you can't be gunning for guests like that each and every time. I mean, really,
you need the story.
The best stories come out of just like sometimes randoms. And
They do.
Like, dude, let's have you on, and then you're blown away. You're like, what the heck? And, it's just because they don't.
I'm so lucky to just connect with you guys because I was telling David we have so much collaboration. So it's not even just the idea that you were on our podcast and we had David on a podcast previously as well, but just and vice versa. It's just the collaboration of what does a contract look like for sponsors?
Yeah, exactly.
What is like how are you recording and what frames per second are you doing? And it's just all what's lighting looking like? There's all these technical questions that I enjoy collaborating with, learning,
and that's how you get better.
That's right.
Making sure you have good relationships with people and being able to share information.
That's exactly right. So I want to dive into this because you've kind of said that you've the audience, if they've been cluing in on little things you've said, the PTSD, and that you've spent time on this prison and you've spent time in both prisons, and you dropped some stuff, and people may or may not know your story. I mean, but you were kind of put through a very public trial.
Yeah.
And were accused of some of the worst crimes, some of the worst stuff. I mean, it
was premeditated murder, two other counts of murder. So that you can't really.
It was
facing life without parole, so it doesn't really get any worse than that, except for I guess the electric chair.
Yeah, and I mean we're talking kind of war crime sort of stuff. I mean, whether anyone agrees with the outcome or not, it doesn't matter. The outcome is the outcome, and
the outcome is the.
And the truth
outcome because it was the truth.
The truth, right?
You can
go back and look
or
at
disagree all you want, but you can't. You can't hide from the truth, and that's
truth shall set you free.
Yep.
And but it was quite the battle, and I have several kind of things to talk about there. But one of them really is, it doesn't matter, that trial. Like you could. There's audience members out there that are going through their crucible right now. and they may feel being attacked in their character, attacked morally, attacked, the integrity of who they are, the core of who they are. What is it like to stand in that fire? And then, how do you pull through? Where do you lean? Like, where do you lean? Where do you turn? How does faith play into it? I have all these sorts of questions swirling in my head.
Yeah. So, going through an experience like that, I think, like you hit the nail on the head where, your character, everything who you are is just being demonized by the media, and actually things are being made up, just straight lies made up about you. And as you guys know,
and why would they do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would they make lies so they can have advertising money?
Exactly. To push a narrative. So it's going trial by media. But it was definitely a hard thing to go through. At first, I was, the one blessing was I was locked up. So I really had no idea just how big the story had gotten.
Wow.
Obviously, about halfway through, about 4 or 5 months in, I start seeing my wife or brother on the news, fighting for me or getting the truth out. And that's, even then you're like, okay, they're on Fox, sweet. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until, I started showing up to my court appearances where the media, I'd get out of the car and they were swarmed. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, this is a whole nother level. Something that you just never expected to be in a situation like that. So I definitely was tough. The hardest part was the betrayal aspect. It's hard to describe to somebody who hasn't gone through it, but
this your country.
To have your country that you've given everything for and sacrificed so much for, and that you were willing to keep sacrificing for, turn on you and then start trying to put you away for life. One of the scariest moments is I was handed a binder. It said the United States versus Eddie Gallagher.
Wow.
So right when you see those words, you're like, okay, that's
not right.
No, yeah.
And my budget is here.
Yes.
Your budget never
and that's
stops.
really,
It
you're
never
fighting
stops.
a monster, right?
It never stops.
So
I would like my tax money back, by the way.
I was probably like 2 or 3 months in, still trying to make sense of everything, still trying to logically fight this battle in my own head, and like most men, trying to control the situation. Like, how can I affect this outcome from where I'm at? And it wasn't until I had a conversation with my wife on the phone, because I was so institutionalized that I still was having a hard time believing that my own command or the United States Navy would do this to me. And so every time I was on the phone with my wife, hey, what's the command saying? What's being put out? And she finally just had it with me, and she was like, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
She's like, nobody's coming to save you.
Yep.
They are all against you. I am the only one out. My brother, and a handful of friends, we're the only ones out here fighting for you, and you have to get that through your head. Yeah. So I hung up the phone, walked back to my cell. Was just that was like and God bless my wife. She said it in such a manner, because I obviously that wasn't verbatim, but with the way she put it to me, she's like, you have to listen to me right now. She's like, for 15 years. We've been letting you go, deploy, go fight, whatever wars you wanted to fight, all these things, and you always told us it was for a righteous reason, which we believe you, and we still believe you in that. She's like, I'm telling you right now, you have to know that we are the only ones fighting for you, and we are the only ones doing it for righteous reasons.
Nice.
So I went back to my cell, sat there probably for I don't know how long, just still trying to logically put things into place, and I just got to a point where I was like, dude, I can't do this anymore. So I got on my hands and knees for the first time in my life and just spoke out loud to God.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've obviously prayed before on my hands and knees, but speaking.
You were surrendering at that point. You're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I've done everything I could do.
I tapped out right then. I was like, God, just take this from me. I can't do this anymore. I can't. Keep fighting.
Yeah.
And I just was like, whatever your will is, whether I'm guilty or not guilty, I'm giving total control to you.
Wow.
And that
you got things back in order, right? Or in in the order that things need to be. 'Cause
Yes.
in the times that him and I have talked in the past, that's been the beautiful thing about all of this, and then seeing it on the backside is military was God.
Yes.
Right? Your job was God, your mission was God. I talked to Andrea. And it was time to get those things, to get God back in the God spot.
Yes.
Right.
Very interesting.
And I think that's the revelation that you walk with today, is that God's number one, family's number two, and then whatever's
and
things had
below
never
that.
been in that order before.
No,
right?
I had the SEAL teams as number one.
Yeah.
And then my family was number two, and probably God was three.
Right.
Somewhere in that. And so, and my wife had always warned me that my whole time. She was like, she's like, you put this community up on a pedestal. That is your, false worship.
Yeah.
Of course, I was like, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Like, this is who I am.
That's what we do as men.
They really like me.
Yeah.
They really like me, though.
They really like
And
me.
they're
down
very
there.
good at like making you feel like you are needed. It's like you, and the
what do you
reality
think-
is,
what do you think? What have you landed on that would like? Did they need a sacrificial lamb? Was there something politically
like
happening?
why did this happen?
Yeah.
Oh man,
'cause
so
it's so crazy. Like, what have you landed on? And there may have been
what I've
evidence
landed on
since
is pretty
it's come
simple
out. Yeah.
because you can talk to anybody about my situation,
Right.
and they'll sit there and try to give you all these logical reasons why the command turned on me, or why this happened or this happened. The reality, like, to break it down as simple as possible, it happened because there was people in power that had the authority to do what they did. And if you want to see the true character of somebody, you give them that amount of power.
Just power.
And that's really what happened. It was some piss poor leaders that happened to be in charge at the time. They cared more about the institution of how it was being perceived than the actual me who had been working for the institution.
Right.
So they were like, hang this one out to dry as an example, even though they had none of the facts.
Right.
It was just like, I was a sacrificial lamb to, hey, give to them, whoever
they had
the
dirty
leftist
tricks
agenda.
they were doing in the trial. I was
the whole
reading.
time.
I mean, they had like spyware they were putting on
Yeah,
people.
well, when
with
you form a case
emails
on
and- I mean,
lies,
it's
you have no
insane.
choice.
Yeah, it was. If you dive into this story, it's actually insane to see what our government did to do that, and to get to this point. And then you had someone in trial saying, "No, it wasn't Eddie. It was actually me."
Yep.
And I mean, it was insane when you go down the rabbit hole of your Wikipedia page. It's insane. It's absolutely insane what the government did to you. Here's my question. Have you, or how do you get to forgiveness for your country?
That's a good question too. So forgiveness, that's always I can sit here.
It's not for the United States, in my opinion. It's for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
forgiveness is always for me.
It's better off on you.
It's hard to get there.
And that's, and I think I can say, I'll sit here and be like, yes, I've forgiven. I forgave dudes while I was locked up. Like, some of the guys came and saw me that were involved, and they were like, hey, this was a lie, and now we're trapped, and I forgave them right there.
Wow. Well, you had guys come to you while it was going on.
While I was locked up.
Wow.
There's so many crazy things that happened.
But they're brainwashed, too.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what they do to a degree.
Is that a fair statement? Yeah. But still, there's the character that was at the flaw there, right?
Yeah. The problem is those guys who came forward or came and saw me, they were like, this is a lie, but I can't go back on what I said, or else they're going to throw me.
Come after me.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, hey, that's something that you have to live with.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing to me.
Yep.
But I was like, I forgive you.
Wow.
I hope that you make the right decision. And as far as the other guys, and some of the people that, definitely did me dirty, I've forgiven them to a point where I've forgiven them where I don't think about them.
Right.
I've moved on with my life.
Right. Yeah. You ain't got to be buddies with them. You ain't going to talk
I'll
to
add
them.
this. I don't forget.
Yeah.
Right.
You got
There's
boundaries.
a difference. Like, I
100%.
forgive, but I know what you did. So therefore, I'm not going to completely forget your actions and the things that you took, because I am not going to allow you to enter back into my life.
Well,
I already know your character.
You have your son now in this organization.
He's in the Marine Corps.
The Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Department of the Navy, the men's department.
And I don't have any hard feelings against the Navy. And I think that's a big miss.
That's actually good. Okay.
That's the good thing about it.
Yeah. No, I've forgiven the individuals.
Gotcha.
That started this whole thing and did this to me. The institution of the Navy or just the DOD in general, like, I don't blanket statement be like, because this happened to me, the whole thing is bad. I know how great being in the military is. I think it's one of the greatest things that you can do. I think serving your country is one of the most honorable things that you can do. So I would never sit back and be like, no, the whole thing's a sham and you know, don't join. It's not a perfect organization. Yeah. They make mistakes just like everybody else. I'd say the one downfall they have is they never like to admit their mistakes or own them. But I told my son when he wanted to join, I was like, I completely support you in this, and you know what you're getting into. You know this is not a perfect organization, but it's also an honorable thing. And I come from a long lineage, like all the males in my family, going back to my great-grandfather, like they all served in some capacity. So it's a part of my lineage. So yeah, I don't have any ill will at all towards that. And matter of fact, it's the opposite. I support the military 100%. I support the active duty guys. Our nonprofit, the Pipe Hitter Foundation. That's exactly who we support. But yeah, as far as like forgiving those other guys, I've forgiven them to where I've moved on. Like what happened, that whole scenario that happened to me doesn't define me. It doesn't define who I am. Right. But what it does is it defines my purpose going forward. It defines my mission going forward, which is why we started the nonprofit, the Pipe Hitter Foundation.
Advice. That's great advice, Eddie. And if you had just maybe one or two things that you could share with somebody who is going through their crucible, which feels like their character is being called out in question, and you have all these lies, like what would you tell that person to do? What would be the first thing you'd tell them to do? Or first couple things?
Well, the first couple things is, if you aren't a believer, I would definitely go ahead and crack open that Bible.
Turn to your faith, right?
Start reading.
Yeah.
Because the situation that you are in, you are not in control. You're not in control of what people say about you. You're not in control of what people think, how they think about you. But what you are in control of is how you react to those things, right?
That's such good advice.
And that is not an easy thing to do because we're all human. So, you can take it to like comments that are made right on social media. You can read 20 positive comments and there's that one negative one. Guess where all of our focus goes? To that one negative one.
Why did they say that?
Why did that person say that about me?
Pain seeking on the internet. Pain seeking.
Yeah, and you overlook all the positive comments.
That's right.
Well, it's no different when you're going through a situation like this. If your character is being demonized and you know that you are being wronged, then you need to go to God with that. Okay. Give it to Him. Let Him take control of it. And you can only control how you respond to the situation. And God will help you respond to that situation if you ask Him, like, help me respond to this in a way that you would. And that's what I would ask Him every day. And I asked Him every day in my cell, every night. I was like, please help me forgive these individuals. Like, because I, was definitely full of bitterness, rage. And, I'd have Him, I'd ask Him every day, take everything that I'm feeling, this frustration, this betrayal, anger, sadness. I'm like, I'd give it to Him every night and be like, take this from me. And then, I would also say, because I think these situations like the cancel culture, it's really no different, right? They try to cancel me in a certain way. Just know, like, if you are in the right, if you know you're being wronged, stick with your guns. Your voice will become stronger on the end. You see it with everybody that they try to cancel, right? Even like companies that they try to cancel for these woke or political reasons. Those companies end up thriving afterwards. It's like they have to go through that little obstacle, like, okay.
Maybe they made a mistake in a tweak in marketing, but they just like, I know we're a good company. I know we're not who they say we are. So, and, we deal with this all the time because through our foundation. So what our foundation does is we help active duty, military, law enforcement, and first responders. If they are being unjustly accused or targeted for what they were trained to do, we step in, we provide emergency relief aid for their family as they're going through this difficult time. We also raise money for their legal defense, and then we advocate for them as well. But the cool thing that we're able to do is mentor them going through this because they're all going through this difficult situation like we're describing, right? So most of these guys, and most of them are men that this is happening to, right? And a lot of them are law enforcement. And their spouses are the ones that have to
sort of pick up the gun and be like, now I'm fighting for you, because a lot of these men can't speak out for themselves during this time. So what's really cool is my wife is able to mentor the spouse and sort of show her the roadmap of how to fight back and how to speak up for, their husband. And for the husbands, I'm able to talk to them and sort of guide them through on how to handle this situation, because they do go through some dark times. I've talked a lot of guys out of committing suicide. Wow. I've talked guys, and they're in their worst time.
Right.
So being able to sort of stick my hand out and grab theirs and be like, hey, man, we're going to get through this together. And the one thing we tell these people when we do pick them up, and we're like, hey, we're going to support you and start a campaign around you and get you out of this, but you have to be willing to fight. And we let them know, like, this is not going to be an easy road, but there is no quit. Like, we will not quit on you, and we don't want you to quit on yourself, because it's an emotional roller coaster going through this, and there's going to be high highs followed by super low lows, and it's going to keep going like that sometimes for years. And so you have to be prepared for that situation, and the only way that you can actually battle that is you have to be mentally strong, emotionally strong, physically strong, most important, spiritually strong.
Yep.
If you don't have all four of those elements locked in, and not many people do, right? There's always some, kink in the armor somewhere.
Yep.
Then you are going to have a rough time. So I tell them to work on all four of those attributes as we're going through this. And
that's strong, brother.
Well, yeah, and it's what it takes.
Yeah.
It's
you got to fortify yourself.
Going through something like that. It's very hard to, talk to somebody about it that hasn't, right?
Yeah.
You sound like a crazy person, especially if you're going through it at the time. And that's what these people end up realizing is, as you're going through this and you're being demonized and your character's being assassinated, you will see a lot of people you thought were your friends completely back off, and they're like, dude, you're on your own, which is some of the hardest things to deal with for these people, because they're like, bro, all these people I thought that were my friends or were going to support me, they're gone, because they're all worried about themselves.
They don't
like,
want
dude,
their
if they can do this to you,
that's right.
They can do this to me, so I don't want any part of that. And no fault. It's like, cool, you do you, man. If that's the one thing I heard after I got done with my whole spiel was, guys would come up and be like, hey, man, I was cheering from the sidelines. Right. And I'm like, thank you for that.
Yeah.
But you can stay on the sidelines.
Yeah, stay over there.
I don't need that in my life.
You know who's going to get in the ditch with you.
Exactly.
Right? You know who's going to be in the ditch with you. And
that's the beauty of going through a situation like that, is you find who your true friends are. Yeah. We call it cutting the fat out of your life. You're like, sweet. Like, now I know who to surround myself with.
I just created real friends.
Yeah, exactly. Guys that will, they're going to be family.
Pipe Hitter Foundation, is that right? So we're going to throw up some stuff in post production for it. Pipe Hitter Foundation. I know you've got a place in your heart in that, and this is actually a great spot for us to take a quick break. But when we come back, though, I really want to talk about what your wife means to you, because you've dug into that, and what I saw watching TV was a spouse that would never give up.
Yep.
So we're going to come right back.
Oh, awesome.
Well, this is a perfect time for me to tell you about True North Pest Control. They are your pest control superheroes. They're all over Central Florida, of course, the Panhandle here where I'm at, and all of Georgia. So make sure you give them a buzz, TrueNorthPest.com. They will take care of all them critters, all them flying bugs, and allow you to enjoy the outside and make sure your inside stays clean. True North Pest Control. Tell them we sent you. Now let's get back to things, because this is a perfect spot. We were just where we left
Eddie,
off.
this is great.
Compliment you on your ad-lib ad reads.
Man, he's in it, right? Segue after
have
segue.
Like a thing in front of me where I'm reading it.
He's segue after segue, this guy.
Well, sometimes, so we do have commercials that are baked, but when I can just do them live, I do like to throw my sponsor that way, and it feels a little different, it's
more personal.
Right. So I try to throw them some love. They're so good to support, little old $10 podcast over here. So
keep the lights on. Man.
Keep the lights on. They got their own lights.
Right. That's right. Yeah. But before we took the break, we really dived into it, because Danielle's you've got that last picture, and I want to throw this picture up, because this is what I remember seeing while you were going through this. This picture is what I remember seeing. But I remember your wife being in front of these cameras, and in break you were telling us that you guys were best friends in high school.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And that is something. This is a love that goes deep. This is a time that goes deep, and obviously was tested then.
Yeah.
But it goes deep. I'm a high school sweetheart. My wife and I, she was 15 and I was 17.
Okay.
And so we'll have 25 years together this February, 31 years in totality.
Congrats.
25 married. Thank you. And same to you, but I understand a little bit about that. We've been tested, not the same way you have, but we've been tested. And when you go through something like that, and when you feel like everybody's abandoned you, but she didn't, that's something different. That's something different.
It's one of the most magical and just biggest blessings that I've ever got to witness as a husband. I think we all, want to think, the spouse or whoever you marry is like, this person will go to the ends of the earth for me. And those are all easy to say, right? Until, what hits the fan, and then it's like, okay, now we're in this situation. So, to be able to see my wife just do what she did for me, it just, we were already so connected and so bonded. Like you talked about, we were best friends in high school, and literally that's what we were, was best friends. We didn't have any type of boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. We hung out with each other all the time. And then when she graduated, she was a year younger than me. She went to Florida to do a design school, and I joined the military. So then we were separated for about 5 years. And during that time, she had met a guy and then got pregnant, got married, and all that. And so we really hadn't talked until I reconnected with her 5 years later after I had become a SEAL.
Okay.
And she had been recently divorced, 2 kids, the old hat trick.
Wow.
But I knew, we both knew, because I was actually traveling from Special Operations Medical School out to San Diego to check into my first team. Stopped off at home. My parents were actually moving out of Fort Wayne. So I stopped off there before they sold the house. Decided to just give her a ring just to see how she was doing. And then we connected there, and what was supposed to be a 3-day trip turned into a 2-week stay. I stayed there. I had all these big plans, my 2 weeks leave, but we both knew this is supposed to be this is how it was supposed to be, but it wasn't an easy road. I went and checked into my team. Obviously, like I said, she had 2 kids, recently divorced. So we did the whole long distance thing, for a year. And, I'll say one thing, I definitely put out that first year as far as trying to make it work. Being a new guy at the team is not easy. You are expected to be busting your ass 24/7.
All the time, right.
So when I would have just even 2 days off or 3 days, I would drive from San Diego to Indiana to go spend a day with her, or fly to spend a day with her. And then she would come out and see me when she could. It was very few and far between. And then before I deployed, we decided I was like, we need to get married. I knew I was going to marry her, but I was like, hey, if I die, I want you to have all the benefits. I want your kids to have all the benefits from it. So we got married before I deployed, and then I came back from that deployment, and we got custody. We had to go to court to get full custody of the kids.
Wow, okay.
Which wasn't a hard thing, and I won't even get into that because that's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
The biological's not the best, but
you guys stepped into that role.
I did what I do best, is go big or go home. I came back, was like, hey, single Navy SEAL into, you're married with 2 kids now.
Instant family.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I did that, and it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. I tell people, you ever have those feelings that it's God talking to you, and those only come to you everyone.
They're
when
not
they
every
happen,
day,
right? No,
And
I've only had those feelings 3 times, and that's when I drove across the Coronado Bridge to check into Buds. I was like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, no doubt. It was when I asked my wife to marry me, and then it was when my first, my Ryan was born. And it's just one of those things where it's like, this is supposed to be. So she, married with 2 kids. Then Ryan came, obviously, probably a year and a half later after my first deployment. And through my whole career out there, I mean, you're tested. Your marriage is tested all the time, in so many different ways. And that the thing about our community, we have a 120% divorce rate. And that's,
wait, 120%?
Yeah, you got to count second marriages.
Yeah. Well, you know what most people don't realize, and this is a statistic, is that 56% of marriages in America divorce.
Yep.
That's almost whether you're in the church or outside the church. Do you know it goes up to like mid-70s for second year? And then third year, it's something like, I don't know, my wife knows the number is probably like over 86, almost 90%. In fact, you're almost doing a disservice to yourself to get married,
again.
Anymore.
Yeah. Unfortunately, guys make that mistake in our community all the time. And it's a stressful job. It's a lot of stress on the marriage. It's a lot of stress on the family. So if you do not have a strong, independent woman as your wife, chances are your marriage is either not going to make it or it's going to be rough waters the whole time. Right. The wife needs to learn how to be independent. She needs to learn how to be without you because you are gone every year. I think it's 85%, 90% of the year. Like
really?
You are not home. No.
Wow.
So even when you're deployed, obviously for 6-7 months, you come back, you might have 2 weeks at home, and then boom, you're starting to go to schools and then work up, and work up is about 7 months, and you're gone that whole time. You might come back for a weekend here and there. So as a father, you're trying to make it work. You come back and you're like, okay, I'm home, but you're only home for a certain amount of time. So you end up being, I was like, the good time dad. Like,
right.
I was not.
You're disrupting the entire schedule.
Oh,
they got their own routine.
Right. You're throwing wrenches in the whole ecosystem. Yeah. But Andrea never, she never made it like that. There are some spouses that are like, the husbands come back and they're like, you're ruining everything. She never once brought that up to me. She was just, I knew, I was like, okay, I'm just going to try and flow and fit in here where I can.
Right.
The big thing is, I wasn't a disciplinarian. Because in my mind, I was like, if I die, I don't want these kids' last memories of me like yelling at them about something.
Right.
And that's not the right answer either. But that just goes to show like how much of a strong, wife they have to be, because they're playing both roles most of the time, right?
Right. Right.
And so if you don't have God first, and I'll say this, like Andrea, before I married her, she's a very strong Christian woman, and the one deal breaker she had with me, she was like, if you are not a believer, I cannot be married to you.
Wow.
She's a smart lady.
Because she
knew how it was going to go.
Well, she had the first marriage
sort of thing. It's like, I've got a certain
true.
foundation, and I want to make sure that we're on that same level.
Yep. Yeah. And I was like, sure, and I was raised Catholic, so in my mind, I was like,
I'm Christian.
I believe in God too.
Yeah, you're born that way.
Yeah, right.
You're born
and
some Catholics, there are. I want to be fair to my Catholic friends out there. There are Catholics that definitely know Jesus. And have a relationship.
Oh yeah.
But it can be like, I was born. I was born in Italian, so I'm Catholic. So
I know
it can be that
Catholics
way.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I grew up. My dad was a strong, strict Irish Catholic.
Sure.
So we went to church every Sunday, no matter where we were.
Sure.
But once I left the house, it was like, and I'm done with that. Like, I believe in God, but I wasn't sticking to any like going to church or anything. So when I married her, that was like a deal breaker. So I was like, yeah, for sure. So I would go to, we go to church every Sunday. She read her Bible every day. I did not. That wasn't something I did. But I truly believe, because she was such a strong woman of faith, that is one of the only reasons we made it through our whole career as well. I
think you're probably right.
Yes, for sure.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
And I can sit here and say, I did. I tried to be a good husband. And I fell short time and time again. It didn't. I can honestly say it wasn't like I was trying, to go do all these different things, go hang with the boys or do whatever. Like when my time off, I was going home and like trying to participate in being a dad and being part of the family. But unfortunately, that job requires 95% of your attention. So even when I was home, I wasn't home.
Right.
My mind is elsewhere.
Right.
But through all those years of stress, and of course, families, going in that career field in special operations, or just in the military during time of war, you lose people. So my kids, my wife had been to more funerals than they should have, lost uncles, and really those traumatic experiences will either make you or break you, right? So each one of those experiences just made us that much stronger as a family. And then, of course, this happened at the end of my career.
Right.
And that was like the pinnacle. And I'll tell you this, when you have the government coming after you, the first thing they're going to come after is your marriage.
Really?
And it was, and it was, they knew it too, because what was passed to them, to the investigators and NCIS, was the one thing that I truly cared about was my family. And they said, that's where it'll hurt him the most. And so they try and drive a wedge between you and your family. They told my son that I was a murderer. He's 8 years old.
Right.
They told, they say all these things. And my wife was like, nope. Like, she's like, I know who my husband is.
She went after the news organization.
They awoke a sleeping giant.
They really did. She became really a bigger force.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? I mean,
because you got to think, man, she'll say this in a lot more articulate way than I can. But she.
Well, we may just have to get her on the show.
That's right.
You probably should, honestly.
I think she'd be great.
I tell people this all the time. Yes, this happened to me, but the hero of the story is my wife, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's who you should be interviewing. She is the freaking, like,
Hey, brother, I
everything.
tell everybody when I'm in negotiations and it gets to the end of it, and they don't feel like I'll move anymore, they'll say, well, we need to talk to your partner, which is my wife.
Yeah.
I say,
Good luck moving her.
Say, hey, I'm the hug.
I'm the
She's the
easy.
hammer.
Yeah.
She's the
I'm
heavy.
like, hey, I'll let you.
You chose poorly.
Good luck. Good to you. Go ahead. Your deal's not getting better.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You should have started there.
But the way my wife puts it is, she served as well.
Yes,
she sacrificed as well.
She was at SEAL Team 0.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
she did.
she's like, I sat there and let you took my husband away from me all the time. I supported it. She even, she had Bible studies for all the spouses.
Oh, wow.
She was heavily involved in the community as well. So when this happened, and she went to the command, wrote them a letter, and was like, hey, this is happening. Why is nobody supporting us?
Right.
What can we do? They shunned her. And then from that point, she was like, nope, you're not doing this. She stood up and started fighting back.
There's no wrath like a woman's
scorn.
scorn.
yeah.
Yeah. And, to this, and like I said, it was a blessing as a husband to watch your wife get up and just take down the government, the Navy. Like, they could not defeat her. They did a documentary on Apple on us called The Line.
Really?
And it's actually very well done, even though it's skewed, But the one episode I love is they do a whole episode on my wife, and the Secretary of the Navy, they interviewed him, and he said, quote, going up against Andrea Gallagher was like going up against Mike Tyson with your hands tied behind your back.
Wow.
She beat the crap out of everybody.
Well, I'm watching that tonight. I'm watching
She did it with the truth.
Yes.
And that's what she stood on.
The truth doesn't change.
Relentless.
No.
The truth doesn't change.
And she had articulated so well. My wife went to law school, so I always say she's a trained arguer. But your wife had a lot of that to her. She was quick. She had her talking points. She wouldn't back down from them. It was just so.
Yeah. And if you ask her to this day,
do you think that the outcome would?
I'd be in prison right now.
Yeah.
I would be in prison without my wife, and and I think everybody attributes a lot to Donald Trump, the president at the time.
Sure.
What I tell people is he would have never gotten involved if it wasn't for her. And he said that. We met him, and he was like, the only reason I got involved is because your wife's a good salesman.
Wow.
And he's like, she sells her product well, and her product is you.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And so, we're so attached now that it's almost like it's hard to talk about because, one, I'll get emotional just how
we've had criers.
Yeah, how much
it's all good.
The love that's there, and we're pretty much we've melded into the same person. But yeah, it was a blessing to watch her do that, and like I tell everybody else, and that's the one thing, when you're facing adversity or an obstacle like that, and you are able to get through that as a family, dude, there's no stopping you after that.
So that's what I was going to say.
So great.
Because so now looking back, having come out on the other side, could you imagine a marriage that you have now?
No.
Right? I mean, it's so God didn't intend for you to have to go through that, right? Man
But
made
he
that
used it
happen,
for
right?
good.
But he used it for good. And so
Yeah.
because of you have.
Yeah. And, I'll give you just a tidbit. Before the day that I was locked up,
Is this the Bible verse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love that part of the book.
Oh, it's because you can't make it up.
No.
Yeah, ChatGPT'd your book. It said it's worth a read.
Yeah.
No,
That's what I've heard.
the audible version. The audible version is the best because the way that they did the book, my wife and I listened
Which
to it.
we're gonna throw it up there, by the way.
We drove to New Orleans, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna listen to this book, right?"
Yeah.
And it was cool because Eddie gets to do all the narration on all of his
great.
parts. Andrea does her parts.
Oh, very good.
The lawyers do theirs.
My kids,
kids even
my
got
kids
in.
have chapters
very
on it.
cool. Very
But
cool.
the one part, it's funny that you brought that up because I've been sitting over here marinating on it. I'll never forget that part when Andrea goes, I was reading in the book about Daniel this morning. Is that the story? Joseph, sorry.
Joseph, yep.
Where his brothers sold him out, and he said, what God intended for evil, God's going to use for good.
So the morning that I was arrested, I was in a TBI clinic, traumatic brain injury, which I was doing that. A lot of guys go do that before they get out. It's like because we don't document any injuries we have. So we're like, by the end, we're like, hey, I need documentation.
All this. Yeah.
And it's also to see like what injuries you sustain. So while I was there, I talked to her every morning because the whole day was pretty filled up. And so that morning she was like, hey, I'm reading the story of Joseph, and it just something hit me. I was thinking of you, and it's all about being turned on by your brothers. And obviously we had known what was going on at that point. And she's like, I think you should like look in, read it. And I was like, okay. And I hung up, and an hour later they came and arrested me.
Wow.
And threw me in prison, and by my own brothers.
By your own brothers.
So she's very prophetic, which bites me in the ass a lot of the times.
That's that women's intuition. I tell
it
you
is
guys,
prophetic.
Listen,
it is.
Audience, if you've got a woman around you, tune into her intuition. The women are more emotionally charged, so they live their lives emotionally, and they can't explain why they feel things sometimes, but it's for real.
Yep. If
like,
she says, I don't think you should do
it.
that right now, probably take her word for it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's honestly amazing story, and it's and I did want to leave the audience with that because it is what God, man will do things to you, but God can use that. So it doesn't mean that was good. But good can come from it. But
it happened for a reason.
Well, and here you are working alongside people in your foundation, helping them navigate these high stress situations and these moral, challenges where their characters being assassinated or they're being attacked, and so you're helping to walk alongside folks, and you would not have had that opportunity without.
Not at all.
They wouldn't know what to do next.
No, and
they wouldn't know what to do next. So
that's the beauty of the whole
God
situation.
puts you in a situation, and it's really cool to see you lean into that, and it's cool to see your wife lean into that. And I'm going to go ahead and try to pitch to get her on sometime next, because
JB, we got to get her on.
We need to hear her side of this story.
We do.
I can only imagine how powerful that is. I've just got a couple more questions. One of them, I know with Shoot Me Straight, you guys do an incredible podcast. I shared with you earlier, I think your cadence is incredible. I think your set is great. You guys have an incredible set. Your guest lineups are amazing. But are there any stories that stick out with like some of the stuff you've done so far? Any of the people that you've had on that stick out with you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch.
People that my audience should go back and Google that Shoot Me Straight and that guest.
One that really sticks out to me, obviously, just because he was a teammate of mine. We had Dan Cirillo's nickname was Taco.
I love the nicknames.
We had him on, and he had been through a similar situation as me. He was actually at SEAL Team 7, but it was years prior, and he was charged with war crimes.
Oh, wow.
Did not get to the level that we went through, but it was the same type of scenario. And he had really not delved into it too much, right? And talked about it. So he felt comfortable because we both had been through similar. He came on, and the podcast, I don't think me and Dave said 5 words. It was 3 hours, and he sat there and just left everything on the table. Like, boom, here's, and then he went through all of his struggles, everything he had been through. I mean, it was very emotional, and he ended up dying a month later of a stroke. And I went to his memorial, and our podcast was brought up at his memorial. A good buddy of mine, Dave Rutherford, got up and was speaking about him and was like, if you guys ever want to really know Dan and hear his story, go check Shoot Me Straight, because that's the only time he has opened up like that. And what that really hit me hard, because his family is able to go listen to him. Because I'm sure there's things in there he hadn't told his family, his kids. So that hit home. And then the other one, this one's embarrassing. You know, we don't even have the episode, but this one definitely had an effect on me. And I know we'll never live this down, but we had a guest who was terminally ill. He had a year left to live. And so he came in and did an interview with us. It was more for his kids, so they could know his story. And just listening to this guy and his perspective on life, just his attitude.
Especially in a finite situation.
Knowing his time was coming, you know, really just changed my mindset on a lot of things and how I look at stuff and how I look at life. But in the end, it was one of our first podcasts, and the audio did not.
The audio did not make it through.
Yeah, man. And
that is
to this day, I just even saying that, I'm like, oh.
We've had things happen too.
I know.
They do.
He ended up passing a year later too, and we could never get him back. He was so sick.
Just couldn't get it back done.
No, but
that's the hard thing about podcast. That's one of those things people don't realize. Like, if you're a young person out there, or heck, any age, and you're thinking of starting a podcast, just get ready. Technical issues will pop up all the time.
Nobody can see on camera
that's wild.
60 cords laying on the ground.
All the things that have to be plugged in.
I would say every guest that we've had has, you know,
some sort of impact in it.
Some impact, you know, and that's what I love about doing it. You know, it's
What excites you now that I know you have your Pipe Hitter Foundation? I know you've got the podcast. What are the other things that excite you and get you up in the morning?
Honestly, and it's just I get to be around my family, man. My number one priority is my family, my wife and kids. When I was in a cell, I made sure I told myself that if I get out of here, this is what I'm going to focus on. And obviously, when you get out, you can say that all you want, and you can be like, I'm going to focus on this. These are the things that I let go before, and these are the mistakes I made. And you can come out, and society is always going to try and pull you in 20 different directions. Like, oh, you should do this or do that. And I make sure I prioritize just being home. And I think I had this big misconception of when I was of what being a father and husband was. It's like, oh, I have to be doing all these things to prove myself as a father or husband, or I have to, go out of my way to do this. And the reality of it is like, they don't care if you do any of that. They just want you there. You can sit with them for hours and not say a word, but that is quality time. So I remind myself of that all the time.
Great advice.
That's what drives me, is just making sure I'm being the best father and husband I can. I ask God every morning to give me the strength to be a good husband and good father. Give me the wisdom to do so. Give me the wisdom to be a good leader in my household, but also knowing when to follow. And I definitely, I have my own business, where I train. I love going out, and I love training law enforcement or civilians on shooting and everything like that. And that is definitely part of my purpose. That's not who I am, define me as a person. That's just something I like to do. And, obviously I make some money off of it.
Sure.
But I have, and this will maybe be weird to say, but I have no ambitions of I need to go be uber successful and have all these things. I'm like, dude, being successful is a state of mind.
Yeah.
You're right.
It sure is.
Some of the happiest people on the planet have nothing.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
It's a
I
state
am
of
truly
mind.
happy, and I want to keep myself that way.
That's exactly right, brother.
That's great, Eddie.
Eddie, this has honestly been an incredible conversation. I want to first thank you for your service. I should have done that on the outset.
Absolutely.
Military people
My
are
privilege. I had a good
special
time.
to my heart. My brother served. My grandfather served in the Army in World War II, so part of that greatest generation. And in fact, he's got a great story about how he was going to get drafted, right? His draft number is about to be called, and he decided, I'm going to go ahead and go in to service. He thought it'd be great to be in the Navy. And so he got in line to do the Navy, and back then it was gymnasium, so they'd have the recruiters right next to everybody. And he got up there, and the Army guy saw him, and he goes, "You got the last one." He grabbed his ticket, and he said, "You're in the Army now," and stamped it.
Wow.
And so he went into the Army. That's how he got his Army.
You thought you were in the right line.
He didn't get his pick. He thought, if I go in without getting drafted, I get my pick. And nope.
Yeah.
They said, "You're in the Army now."
You're in the Army now.
But he turns out he's seasick, so it worked out good.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that was God's hand.
That was
like,
God's
nope,
hand.
let's
That
get
was
you over
God's
here.
hand.
Yeah.
But military service is great. We're going to tell everybody. I'll throw it up a bunch of times. But The Man in the Arena, you've got to check it out. That's yours and Andrea's book.
Yep.
You've got to check it out. It's based off kind of the statement of Man in the Arena, but this will walk you through what you went through.
Yes.
But Theodore Roosevelt has an incredible quote called "A Man in the Arena."
That is from the quote.
And it really is
it's not the
a
critic
great
who
quote, and
counts.
it really fits well for what I've heard of your story right now here in person on this show. Last question. I've been asking everybody this season this question. I'm going to ask you this question as well, too. I think it's going to be pretty good, so get ready, folks. If you could go back and tell your 25-year-old self anything, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your 25-year-old self?
Those are always good, man.
Yeah. We got a lot of young
There's
audience.
probably a multitude of things I'd like to tell my 25-year-old self.
The cool thing is the perception shift.
It is.
Though,
Yes.
right? Because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
life you have today, there's probably a moment in time where you're like, that was probably stupid, right?
Oh yeah, but here's the thing: like, I don't think I would change anything that I did, because what I did led me to where I am now, and it made me who I am. There's plenty of mistakes that I made. I'd say the one thing my wife will tell you is if there's two paths to get to a goal, one is
You'll take
pretty
the third.
easy.
You're going to take the hard one.
Pretty like, hey, common sense path, and there's one that's probably crawling up broken glass and trying to get to. I would take that path.
There's
every
Eddie's
time.
path.
Yeah, and I take that for a reason, but it's so I can say I earned that goal. But I probably would go back and maybe take couple things, easier path a little bit. But to my 25-year-old self, man, I would just tell him dude, everything is going to work out, as it should. And I think the only advice I would give myself back then is to get into the Word a lot sooner.
Earlier, yeah.
A lot earlier,
That's
man.
great.
Then
advice.
things are easier. You're still going to go through it,
Yeah.
but you're not alone in it.
Jesus will
Bible.
stand with you in it.
Yep. Read your Bible, get into the Word.
The peace that surpasses all understanding.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
hard to describe
Because you don't understand
until
it.
you have the peace that surpasses all understanding.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the big advice I would give myself. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing, Eddie. Again, thank you so much. This has been an honor to have you on our show. So I thank you for being here.
Oh man,
I really do.
It's an honor to be here, brother.
Absolutely. Well, listen, this is the part of the show I like to look at the camera and tell you, listen up, kids. Listen up. Eddie Gallagher's story reminds us that life will hit hard. On the battlefield, sometimes in the courtroom, and in our everyday struggles. But true strength isn't just about standing tall. It's about standing firm in faith when the world tries to knock you down. His journey shows us that resilience isn't the absence of pain. It's the presence of purpose. If today's episode spoke to you, subscribe on YouTube, do all the stuff, share it with someone who needs hope. And until next time, keep standing and keep believing. Or don't. I mean, what the hell do I know?
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid convos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD.